This will do a 30-second.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Roadhouse Live. We are live. Today is October 13th. That would make it what, Bender? What?
Friday,
The what?
the 13th.
Ooh, there you have it. Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. We had banks reporting. They like to do green candle. Dollar like to do red candle. Market tried to do green candle. We have people saying that they're going to do Jihad Day all over the world here pretty soon. I don't know what any of that means. I'm pretty sure that they ain't going to be fucking around with a small town in New Hampshire. So I got that going for me. Really, to me and to my eye, there wasn't a lot of news and stuff. This was bank earnings coming in. I think it really, and I'll keep this brief just because there's not a whole lot unless I want to go into how bad the Broncos are, which I really don't feel like doing right now.
They didn't play all that bad,
dude.
Last night,
dude.
I mean, comparatively, I would say they played better than what we had. I mean, the defense did all right.
Somebody give me the Herman Edwards gif. Somebody give me that you play to win the game.
Yeah, sure.
So you had Russ basically throwing for 100 yards, and you had your running backs averaging like 7 yards a carry. And for some reason, you kept on trying to throw the ball to Judy sitting there basically behind the line of scrimmage. It's like, look, Sean Payton is a lot of things. I'm starting to think and see in a lot of ways that Drew Brees might have been one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And in theory, Sean Payton was holding him back. It's like, just nasty. So there's my 2 cents.
Look, the bar was not high as far as my expectations go. So I consider it to be an improvement that it wasn't a complete shit show, against the champs. Like it could have been much, much worse. And
what's wild, the question is would they cover? Depending on where you got your monies, you covered. Broncos cover the spread, depending on where you got in. 10.5, not so much. 11, you push. You got 11.5. You get the dub. Anyways, just pathetic all the way around. Much like the market was yesterday, quite pathetic all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and skip any shenanigans so we can get right into charts. Make sure you and Stonk have enough time to work through them, because I think that's where the importance is. Outside of that, this could be another one of those days. It's like this is a twofold day. We could squeeze like all bloody hell to the upside because everything is so heavy. That's one. Two, you have to worry about getting headline fucked. That's two. We're doing shenanigans in the streets. There's a decent chance headline fuckery is on its way. So that's two. The other thing is banks traditionally, no matter what happens, sell the fuck off after ER. It's almost like Apple event clockwork as far as sell down. So obviously that XLF, I think, is, and watching that's going to be important. I think Citi popped, Wells Fargo popped, and I think JPM, they all popped. So depending on where they are, they can drag down the ES. Doesn't have to drag down the NASDAQ, but they can drag down the ES, which ultimately would be a weight on the NASDAQ. So with that being said, Bender, let's get into these charts so we have an understanding of what you're looking at.
All right. Well, here's a 60-minute on the screen. You remember yesterday morning during the show, I talked about, potentially coming down to take these out. So we had left behind all these swing lows in here. We had the relative equal lows down here. And I had talked about, at some point coming and taking that out and that being a potential buy opportunity for me. And we did that. Came down into this 60-minute fair value gap, took out all these stops, right? And got a nice bounce. And here we are, now looking like, if you look at these 60-minute candles, at least in the short term, here we were pushing down, right? Up into this 60-minute fair value gap. And then we got this sell down here, right? And now, what does it look like? These 60-minute candles now pointing the other direction, right? Now it looks like, okay, now we appear to be pushing back up. We go to a 15-minute, you can see this 15-minute candle here taking out all of last night and this morning, all of those stops. So I kind of want to see, for this to continue, we get a nice candle up, pull back for a retest, maybe into this fair value gap right here, this 15-minute fair value gap, and then continue the push up. So we've got this 15-minute candle here to fill in. That fills 4407.25. And then we've got this. You had this little swing before the sell down. So there's going to be stops sitting up there, 4417.25, and then ultimately 4430 half. I want to point out that this candle's high at 4430 half, down here to where we found support, 4355.75, the midpoint of that being 4393.25. And we're kind of right in that area right there. If we can establish support above that, then we have a chance to do some fun stuff. Today is set up for potential seek and destroy type moves, price action. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean chop, but the London session did take out Asia session highs and lows. Ultimately, on the day, I am leaning bullish. That would change or invalidate if we were to get below 43.65.50, which is a long ways from here now. But I wouldn't want to see it back below this. That would look pretty ugly. But for right now, it held where it needed to hold. We took out all these stops and found some support. And we got a bounce. We made a higher low and now push up. This area, right in here, this is the challenge for the day. And this is the question for the day, right? Does it get through this so it can continue this push? Or does it fill in this 15-minute fair value gap and reverse and then come down and sweep these lows? I don't know the answer to that question. Like I said, I am leaning bullish on the day. I would have liked to see us come down and take this out pre-market or just before the open. It's hard to chase up here. I'd like to see some sort of pullback, maybe at the open. Maybe it's one of those where they, stop some people out and kind of sell off the first few minutes and then start the rally higher. Don't know if they're going to give us that, but that's where we're at. My lean. What else you want from me? that's what we've got.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair all in through there. Tell me what you think about the dollar, just for my own entertainment. Because this move up, this throttle move up that we had pre-market, was certainly dollar centric.
Let's look at my dollar chart here. I mean, going back to, we need to go back to a daily.
Dude, a ripper the past couple of days.
Well, it was, right? We talked about this level being taken, and now it pulled back, kind of took out. If we were looking at, any other chart, we'd go, okay, we've got this swing low in here. We came down. This is obviously on the daily. We came down, wicked just below it. Before the dollar can really get momentum to the downside, it needs to establish this area 105.64 as an area of resistance. That's on the daily that we're looking at here. So if we zoom in a little bit, let's go to a 60-minute. And we can see this back to the daily, that shaded box. I think that was this daily fair value gap right here. 60 minutes. So we're in that area, that daily fair value gap. I think, at this point, if the dollar was to make a move back over this, 106.90 area, we all did. We're looking for that next level higher at that point. We can see that a move today below that 106.29 probably induces some more selling on the dollar. You've got a 60-minute fair value gap in here. There's one in here. If it moves over 106.64, head on a swivel, because that's probably going to put some pressure on equities. 15-minute real quick. Kind of same picture, right? 106.64, and again, 106.28. So if I was relating this to, if we're looking at the ES chart right now instead of the dollar, and I was looking for potential levels to break, this would be it. And it would be like, okay, if it establishes support over 106.64, then I'd be interested in a long. If it takes this and pulls back down, then I'd be looking for the market structure shift to potentially take it lower after taking that high. Conversely, the opposite at 106.30. Anything in between here, kind of no man's land at the moment. But yeah, bigger picture. Going back to the hourly, bigger picture. You can see 106.64 above that becomes support, and we're looking back up here. That becomes resistance down at 106.29. And now we're looking to fill some of this in, potentially come down here, 105.53. And this right here does not look
super bullish.
All that bullish. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we got.
All right. Very good. Thank you very much. Stonkington, paging Stonkington. What you got, bud?
What's up? How's it going? Let's see. No Sonny, so we can maybe jump into some of his stuff here. I'm having computer fails, so let's see. I'm on another computer. Let's see if I can manage this. We'll get the screen share going. All right. I missed the beginning, so I don't know which news you covered.
We did not really cover. We covered very little news, so if it's repetitive, nothing wrong with that.
So you might have not gotten the guy who broke the record for farthest traveled on water in a pumpkin.
Actually, we did.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to steal your thunder, but that was right off the top.
I mean, obviously that was big. That's big stuff over there.
But just for so we can go through the exercise, what's your take on this, Stonkington?
I mean, it was bound to happen, right? You
It really
had.
was.
It's like somebody had to do it. It's
Because there's so many
season.
pumpkins. It's like you have to make sure you utilize them this year. You can only put so many pumpkins in coffee. You know, it's like Starbucks.
Oh my god! Can we move past this? Our live viewer count just dropped by 5. I'm not kidding. I'm looking at the number, and 5 people just said, "Fuck this! I don't want to hear about floating pumpkin."
Uh-oh.
Gonna have to bring back Uncle Cracker songs. All right, let's
empty box. Please carry on, Stonkington, before Bender gets upset.
Yeah. Let's see. Netflix downgraded to, and then we've got any of these, most of the other ones. Google price target raised from 150 to 160 at TD Cohen, and everything else. Fortinet downgraded as well. Price target 63. And I don't think we really care about the rest of these. Crude's on fire this morning. Not really seeing any specific headline as to why. I mean, geopolitical stuff kind of still up in the air, so that could be related. And then there's been these Australia Chevron union talks that have been going on, but there's still no deal. Other than that, I don't really see a ton else out there. So we'll jump into some charts. So this was our short smash day setup. We did get the alert where we broke this low, and we're now back into this range. So if we jump in on the hourly, this would be Larry Williams' stop. This candle would have gotten him in, and Larry would get stopped out up there on the SPY if we got back above the high from the 10th. So that's kind of the setup there for the SPY machine based on what Larry would be seeing. Kind of if you did it like ICT style, we almost got like this funky left shoulder head, right shoulder, and ICT would probably be looking to get short here. So we'll kind of have to see what we get on the SPY. Doing the other computer here, so let me jump over and we could just do the NASDAQ. So let's see. All right. So I'll just do the basic look at the NASDAQ. So if we said that this green candle here was a bearish order block, I've got 0.5 fibs on it. And that's where we stalled yesterday. So if that was a bearish order block, I'd want to see us pop back above this level and hold, and then maybe we could be looking at that one as a breaker. If we jump over to the daily, it was an interesting spot that we stalled. We had this daily fair value gap that we looked at pre-market yesterday, which was this here. And you can see where we went to. We left it open by, barely. I think we've now tagged it, but you could see yesterday it was like ticks away. We still haven't filled this daily gap. So that's kind of what we're looking at here below on the NASDAQ based on the daily. Similarly on the SPY, really janky, but we got this potential left shoulder head, maybe working on a right shoulder, and then ICT would be saying, well, we got this fair value gap here on the hourly. So this would maybe be like I would be looking to see what happens if we fill this in. So that's still a nice move to the upside potentially, and then would be looking for the reaction up there at this 15,425.75 on the NASDAQ. So we'll see what we get over there. But you can see like there was a bunch of stops sitting right here. This would be kind of like liquidity. And so I would be interested to see, we're about to go grab these bears break even stops right here. What are they going to do with it? So that next move is going to be important. If we could pop this and get some momentum, that would have me looking higher, potentially here. And then, if we pop that, then we've got these guys stops up here. So that's kind of what I'll be looking for here on the NASDAQ today. If we jump over to the old rusty bag of dicks, this one does have the market on it. So let's see. We got the smash day on the IWM setup yesterday. We had this kind of like triple top break. And now we left. That was a big sell on the NASDAQ, or on the Russell, excuse me. We jump over to the daily. We've got this level we've been talking about, switched it to a red line. We're looking at it as green, but this was, a key level for quite a while, and we smashed right through it. So if we start pushing back upside, I would be looking again at that 1776.6. And then on the 4 hour, we can see this is all kind of unbalanced price action with yesterday's sell. So maybe this is just another bear flag on the Russell, and then they'd be looking for all these stops below. So that's kind of what I would be looking for if we kind of break this lower trend line over here. That little trend line there with the bear flag potentially. So we'll see what we get over here on Russell. But yeah, everything unbalanced above, and then potentially a bear flag, and then stops below. So let's see, that's what we got on the Russell. And then today I was going to keep an eye on Roblox. Let's see, we got a dark pool came in yesterday. We can jump into the dark pools here. Roblox doesn't get a ton, so that's why I wanted to keep it on the list for today. And it was significant. Let's check out what it was. 3163, 4.89% average 30 days. So basically right here, right now on Roblox. We've also got this last earnings gap, which I would anticipate, not necessarily today, but we'll probably fill that in at some point. And that this is looking like a nice little bull flag here on the 4 hour. So if we can, I'm potentially looking for more upside on Roblox. I was looking first, I would want to see kind of this high, basically 32 psychological round number level be popped for the upside. And then I had this level down here, right? That 3120 as a possible short to the downside. On Roblox. And again, I've mentioned a few times I don't use the dark pool as a trigger because I just want to see it bounce around a bit at first. And we're sitting right on it here pre-market. So that'll be interesting to see what happens on Roblox. And then keep an eye on trusty, old, reliable Apple. Let's see. So we've been looking at this gap. Actually, let me jump over Apple. I have all the markup on different layout. Let's see here. All right, here we go. All right, so Apple, I've got fibs on here from this high to this low, and we're right up against the 618 for the bears, as well as Sunny and I were talking yesterday. There's a lot of dark pool sitting here at this 182 psychological round number. Just for whatever reason, there's a lot there. We've got this gap I mentioned that is still not filled, and it's in a nice uptrend since this low at the end of September. So, technically a bearish chart pattern with this megaphone type of thing, but for now, it's just a nice, strong uptrend on Apple. So we'll be looking at this 182 dark pool area above and below. We'll be looking at 180.15 on Apple for downside. And I think that is all I've got for today.
All right. So for me, what I'll be doing, I'll be watching bank activity, specifically with flow. I want to see if they're actually trying to buy further dated stuff on banks, or if this is just a sell the news type of an event and they end up pushing lower. It's always an adventure when it comes to bank earnings as far as trying to figure it out, but I'm going to let Flo kind of talk to me over there a little bit. Things that I'll be watching closely, whether or not they're hitting Apple 182.50 calls for today, like they were tip tapping on yesterday, or they're hitting 180 puts. when it comes to Apple and how that price action is. Some of those targets that from the very beginning of the week, even with that sell down yesterday, are still in play. Apple over 180. Microsoft, let's see if it can make that push that it was looking. Some of that activity into Google, into Amazon. Let's see if it wants to make that push or if this is just a peel back. I think the flow is going to be very, very important today, not only for the weeklies, but what they're doing into next week. And I think it would be wise to kind of pay attention and let that drive your bias more so than all the fuckery within the headlines that are out there, because there's a lot of fuckery, a lot. I don't have anything else. Bender, Stonk, you have anything else?
I don't. Can't really. Maybe I'll get some charts going on Tesla. It's also an interesting setup. That's it.
Yeah, it's like Tesla. You know, we know those 26750s are thick. We know that there's some tippity taps there above to 270 and 272.50, I believe, or 275 maybe for today. And then Nvidia being the other one. Nvidia flow was pretty strong towards the end of the day yesterday. Thank you for bringing that up. Bender, you got anything?
I don't think so. I mean, can we just reiterate the fact that for anybody that's been listening to the morning show, I mean, we pretty much called the bottom at the beginning of the month, gave you the 4-hour market structure shift. We talked about that move, leading up to the move yesterday, the potential to take out those stops, especially news related, headline related. You want to be here. You want to be listening to this. You get good shit here. For the last couple months. I mean, man, I don't know what the people want, but that's what we've given them so far. And think about that for a minute and get some other people to come in here and listen, because that's, we're doing this every day. And I think we need people's help to spread the word that, like, let's make this show what it should be. I think the quality of the content that we're putting out, and the effort that we go through to do this every day, I think is worthy of asking everyone to share it. Let people know.
Bender says sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Tit for tat. How you like that?
How you like that?
Rat-a-tat-tat.
Dude, that shit can go nuclear, man. I'm telling you. It's like that. You end up not getting breakfast. It's like that's gotta be careful. All right.
Help us out. Share it, like it, do all that stuff. Thank you.
I agree.
That's all I got.
Right. I agree. We have about 11 minutes until open. Let's have a good day. See you soon.
Don't fuck it up. See you in a few.